off and is early on into the game, but I don't see I don't actually see that happening. I can't. It's not really. I'm not seeing his numbers being pushed right back up every time.
Well, it's hard to stuff the ballot box because of the way that the poll
Right.
poll guy you pick, the poll tech you
Right.
picked, I should say, is configured such that it doesn't allow more than one vote from a single IP address. So, I mean, it's not impossible, of course, to stuff it, but it requires some work.
Okay. All right.
So we're live now.
Who have we got here?
We are actually webbing. We have me and you and Jeremy, which is 50% more than test number 1.
Okay.
And it looks like the secret, and we should, in theory, be able to conduct an LPNC meeting using Hangout on air text, presuming that we don't have more than 10 participants, counting the host, which would be where the meeting site is. Well, I don't think we could do literally a virtual meeting because there's more than 10 people that typically. Well, maybe there aren't more than 10 people that typically participate, but there's more than 10 members of the EC, so in theory that would be a problem, based on the 10-person limit. But the problem that we actually experienced, I don't remember, Jeremy, if you were at the meeting we tried in December. We tried to use this technology, and it was a disaster because we got like a 30-second delay in the participants. And turned out that the problem was that the host actually has to invite people, and they have to accept that invitation to be kind of like have a first-class citizen connection. If you just come in to the URL and there's fewer than 10 people there, you can be an active participant, but there's this delay, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's to provide the host a little bit more control, or maybe it's just that the programmers that's the way, they didn't do it on purpose, but that's the way that it turns out. Maybe there's obviously some difference between someone who's invited and someone who just comes in. So anyway, point is that as long as the participants are invited, it seems like there's no problem. Now, one thing we haven't tested that we need to test is what happens. We have 6 basically participants, the host plus 5 candidates, let's say, for the sake of argument. That leaves theoretically 4 slots open. Can people, with the watchers that come in, let's say there's 1,000 watchers, do the first 4 of those 1,000 get to participate? And if you kick them out, does that mean that the next 4 come in? That could be a real problem for the host. So I have to test that, see if there's some way to limit that. We may need to bring in some some dummies. So we may need to have some extra people come in that aren't really participating just to fill those slots up to keep it from being a constant problem.
Yeah.
So that would be the plan, to deal with that if that's the case. But I'm very pleased with the way the technology seems to be working. And there doesn't seem to be any delay at all. Jeremy, you want to say something just to make sure that we can hear you?
Yeah, I was at that meeting in December, and you really couldn't do much anything. The delay was massive on it, and it kept disconnecting everybody and everything else. So.
Yes, right. Well, and I know the reason why now. Which I didn't know then, because none of the participants were invited to that meeting. It was just, I put the URL out and people connected using the URL, and that's not the way to do it. So that issue shouldn't be an issue anymore. We won't have a chance to test it with a LPNC meeting though, because I don't think the next one is until it may be technically a little bit before the debate, but it's too late to really run a serious test. We'll have already made our decisions. So just to bring you guys up to speed, Barry Smith, who's our moderator, has a connection with UNC TV.
Okay.
And they have agreed to furnish us with a studio where we can run the hosting from. Barry would be there, and the host, which would either be myself or possibly John Gregory, or maybe both of us. And if they're satisfied that we've mastered the technology based on our confident expectation that we'll have decent content, they were actually talking about broadcasting it on one of their channels. UNC TV actually has a number of different cable channels, and there's one called NC Carolina, which is just starting up, or NC North Carolina. Oh, no, wait. NC channel, I think it's called. Whatever. Anyway, it's a new channel, and they would broadcast. It would only be in North Carolina. It wouldn't be national, but they would broadcast on that channel, which would be cool. So then we'd have both a webcast and a TV cast. Okay. So fingers crossed that'll work out. All right. Well, this is the 10th, right? Okay, that's the wrong day.
13th, the 14th. It's Valentine's Day, dude.
Yes, I know. I'm looking at the wrong event here. Let's see if there's anybody else that I invited. I just realized I used my invitation list from my first test. Nope, looks like I didn't add anybody. Okay, so we're good. Oh, Christopher Dooley and Ken Pankowski said they were coming. Huh. Well, they're not here. So this is supposed to run from 8:30 to 9, and I had some technical difficulties to get it rolling until about 8:45. But I don't think we're going to get anybody else coming at this point because we're actually past the window that it was supposed to run.
Okay.
So, Lonnie, do you have any observations or questions? I mean, you're one of the most technically oriented guys in the group. Does it seem like this looks okay to you?
I've actually done podcasting and stuff like that, so I've actually done stuff that's more or less canned. I've never done a live event like that.
Right, I'm not asking you from that perspective. I'm just asking you from the quality. Does it seem like it's working all right? Oh, here's Timothy Cole.
Hello.
Hi, I'm sorry, in the middle of dinner, but yes, it's working fine.
Oh,
Okay.
Cool. Great. Right. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner. It's lucky that we started late. It would have been worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave you, but I'll be here later.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for helping us.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. And Brad, all I was saying was, yeah, I've never done anything live, so I can, do a lot of post production for it, clean it up,
Right.
make it sound better,
Right.
but
Right.
because I got tons of experience doing that with about 65 podcasts under my belt, but
Right. Right. All right. Sounds good, guys. Well, guys, thank you very much for showing up. We are going to do another one. I'm going to try to put it far enough in advance so we get our full complement of at least 6 people. And in fact, I hopefully get more than 6. So see what happens if. And I know what I'll do. I'll have some people come in as participants and some people come in just from the URL and see what happens. That'll be a good test. It doesn't really matter how many participants there are. It'll still, as long as it's fewer than 10, then it'll be a good test of what happens when someone comes in via the URL.
all right.
All right, great. Well, thanks again, and I'll be in touch with you all soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.